Hey everyone. So I have some really bad news, and I'm trying to make this video to reach people, but I don't know how many people this video will actually reach. Um, this is something I knew nothing about. And what's interesting is not only did I not know anything about this disease that affects young cats, but also adult cats, but mainly it kills kittens up to a year old. But everyone I know who is a cat lover that I have told about this, they don't know anything about this. So let me tell you, about 7 months ago, I posted this uh, video about a kitten that I had gotten. My spouse bought me this kitten because I was depressed. My Lyme disease, there's a lot of days that I just can't do anything, and it gets really lonely. And so my spouse bought me this beautiful semi pedigree kitten. It was Bebe. We named him Bebe because he was so gentle. He was the most gentle cat that I'd ever had in my life. And he was half Scottish fold and half Siamese. So you saw the picture of him in the post. Well, a couple weeks ago, suddenly, even though he's an indoor cat, he started getting finicky about his food, and he wasn't eating as much and he wasn't playing. So they call that becoming lethargic. And then, even though he wasn't eating, it seemed like his belly was getting larger and larger. Well, we have two cats, so I thought maybe he was coming out in the evening and eating a lot, and he just wasn't eating when I was around. And I thought, maybe he's just becoming a teenager, so his personality is changing. Well, then, by the time I realized that something was wrong, I called my vet, and they said, you might want to take him to the emergency room, because what happened was he wasn't eating at all, and he was starting to get lethargic, and his abdomen was really swelling. This time it was really pronounced. At first I thought he was just getting fat, like, a kitten might, because sometimes kittens are shaped kind of funny anyways. So I get him to the veterinarian. At this point, it didn't seem like an emergency thing. And they did an ultrasound and they did some blood work, and it was really expensive. It was almost $2,000. And the vet said to me, I think this may be something called FIP, feline infectious peritonitis. And what FIP is, it's a mutation of the coronavirus for cats. And it almost 80%, I guess, of cats are exposed to a feline type of the coronavirus, but with certain cats, it mutates in them into this other type of virus. And from what I understand, and I'm going to do my best to explain this because I'm still in shock, what happens is it attacks the gut, the digestive system, and that's what creates the fluid retention. Then that presses in on the organs and can create the jaundice, just like and then kidney failure. So I thought I got him to the emergency room in time, and they gave me these steroids to give him. But she said, listen, legally in the United States, we're not allowed to give the cats, these antivirals. But there's this rogue group called the FIP Warriors, and here's their resources. And even though we don't have the test results back, that he's positive, you might want to get him to them as soon as possible. So I called them, and it was just amazing, these volunteers, because it was like a Saturday in the afternoon, and this woman just dropped everything, even though she was having a dinner party that evening. And I went to her, and she gave me like $1,000 in free antiviral medication that this group was able to obtain. and told me how to do the injections with a spreadsheet, and gave me some Ativan because it's painful. This particular medication is painful when you inject it, and this nutritionally dense food that I could start to feed him. And I mean, they probably gave me $1,000 worth of free medication and so much care. And so we got the first injection in Bebe, and I brought him home. And then the next day, we got the second injection in him, and he started acting. Just nothing was changing. He wasn't. The swelling wasn't going down, and so it seemed like the medication wasn't working, and yet we had to, every other hour I'm trying to give him some type of nutrition or food because he'd lost so much weight, but you couldn't tell he'd lost so much weight because of the bloating. But I thought maybe he's getting more weak because of a side effect from the steroids or the antivirals, because I know antivirals can make you fatigued. And we were just doing our best to do everything we could. And then Monday morning, he did his usual, like around when the sun's coming up, he kind of like steps on top of my feet at the end of the bed to tell me to get up and feed him. And I thought that was a good sign. But then an hour or so later, I woke up and it looked like he was asleep at the end of the bed. And I went to pet him and I noticed his body temperature wasn't right. And then I went to move him and he was gone. He had passed on, and rigor mortis had started to set in. And it's just so heartbreaking, even though we only had him in our lives for 8 months, with my Lyme disease, all those days that I couldn't do anything, that I'm in bed, he was there with me. And all the time that my mind wanted to go to these dark places because I was so exhausted and angry about my condition. It's really hard to be sad when there's this beautiful little unconditional ball of fur, just there, redirecting your thoughts and your emotions. And so this has been hard. It's been really hard, but I'm going to show you, if you can see, I hope that the camera's pointed the proper direction. Do you see how the belly is so distended, this bloating? So if you have a cat or a kitten that starts to look like this, and you can't figure out what is going on, you want to get it to the vet as soon as possible to get it tested for this FIP. And if it tests positive, or even before it tests positive, if the vet is familiar with this and says, I think this is definitely an FIP infection because we've checked everything else out, you want to reach out to the FIP warriors. Hopefully there's some in your community that were as amazing as the ones in our community, and get access to the antivirals as soon as possible. I guess, I talked to the vet today and she was very compassionate. I guess it was just a little too late for Bebe. And, he wasn't a fighter. Sadly, he was a sweet, gentle, loving soul. And we just didn't get them. Even if you get the medicine to them, it's not a guarantee you're going to save their lives. But a lot of kittens are saved, and they still don't know how long this extends the life. But it's just really important for you to be careful what breeder you get your cats from. And it's also really important for us to get this information out about FIP, because not a lot of people know about it, and it is prevalent here in the United States, and it's killing a lot of young cats. So I'm going to post the links that I have thus far to the knowledge I have about FIP, and hopefully this will save at least one kitten's or cat's life. And yeah, it's a hard day. It's going to be a hard couple days because he was just such a sweet, loving little being. Okay, bye for now. Please share this through social media with people. And if you have any questions or comments, put them in the box below, and I'll answer questions as best I can. and check in the description box for associated links to both the disease and to getting help. Because right now, it's just like Lyme disease. You can't get help through professionals. You can't get help through your veterinarian. That's what happens when you live in a country that's so regulated. Bye for now.